Welcome back, everybody, to the Oakland A's franchise, where we open today's episode with some of the worst news we've had in the entire series. Here in the 8th inning in our most recent game against the Atlanta Braves, after hitting a ball down the line and stretching it into a double, Aaron Dunn suffered a serious injury on his head-first slide. All right. We gotta see the MRI results now. Oh no! Torn ACL for Aaron Dunn. Take mine! Man. Just when things were looking good for us here in Season 4, Aaron Dunn's ACL provides one of the greatest challenges of this season. The next time we see Aaron Dunn play baseball is going to be next year. You never know what's going to happen with any of these seasons. And now we've got one of our biggest turning points, honestly, of the entire series. I opened the video this way because this gameplay was recorded during my channel member live stream I did yesterday. During those streams, I tend to get some extra gameplay. It's nice to have another game to take some highlights from to add action to the next episode. And Aaron Dunn got hurt during that stream. As I was figuring out what I wanted to do with the next episode in the series, we've obviously been talking about right-handed outfielders, and I decided in this stream that I was going to start out playing with Denzel Clark down at AAA. And this turned out to be some ominous foreshadowing. Clark has been off to a hot start at AAA. He's done well in his Major League experience to this point, and he is the player that is called up to replace Aaron Dunn. So here I was in the stream just getting some clips of him because I wanted to talk about him in this episode. He's got great range in center field, and he's proven to be a very good contact hitter throughout the series. And he's going to be asked to help replace Aaron Dunn immediately. By the way, we lost this game when we allowed 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th. 4 charged to closer Kendrick Haynes. Going back to the Major League level, we are pre-Aaron Dunn injury at this point. We had Michael Soroka putting together another fantastic outing. Playing against his former team, he put together a complete game shutout in the previous video. This one gets away from Langoliers, but he recovers and gets the runner at second base. Shea Langoliers' breakout continues, and Soroka caps it off. Another shutout and a victory for Oakland. This evened the series with the A's, and I wanted to play the following game because Mitch Keller hasn't played great to start the year. He's 1-4. He's allowed a 6.5 ERA, and walks have been a major issue for him. So this is the game where Aaron Dunn gets hurt, but I wanted to give you the highlights and takeaways from this game. So, Keller making his 6th start. He's allowed over 6 walks per 9 innings. And he opened this game by walking both Michael Harris and Vaughn Grissom. He would avoid walking Ronald Acuna because instead he gave up a double down the right field line. A run scores, and they wave around Grissom at the same time. Arraez' throw is right on the money, and it keeps the second run from coming home. But still a lot to be concerned about here with Keller's start as he then walks Austin Riley. He gets unlucky. The borderline pitch was a strike. He gives up his 3rd walk of the inning, but comes back to strike out Matt Olson. And then Ozzie Albies looking, and he gets out of the 1st, only allowing the 1 run. Let's go bottom 2. Ian Anderson on the mound for the A's, and one of our greatest stories here recently has been Shea Langoliers. He reaches again with a base hit, and Seth Brown follows it up. Now, one player who has started slow and really hasn't picked it up is Trey Sweeney, and his strikeout ends the threat in the 2nd. Mitch Keller trying to settle in. Top of the 3rd. Vaughn Grissom waves at the curveball for strike 3. This already his 5th. Trying to go 1-2-3 in the third. Austin Riley will not allow that to happen. He doubles into the right center gap. Ozzie Albies, a couple batters later, ground ball past Sweeney and into center field. And Riley comes around to score. It becomes a 2-0 game. Bottom of the fourth. A chopper hit by Shea Langoliers. Tough play at third base, and Riley can't get him. Another hit for Shea, his second of the day. Next, it's Seth Brown, and he strikes out to finish off the fourth inning. Ian Anderson was throwing pretty well here in this start. Acuna chasing in the fifth. Keller's pitch count did become an issue, but he really managed to rack up the strikeouts. 2-0 as we go bottom five, and a drive from Luis Arraez. Way out to right, and it's down for extras. Arraez brings home our first run at last. And then we tried to bring him home. Vladimir Guerrero, high drive, left field, and hit deep. Back at the track, and just enough room to make the catch and finish off the fifth. Let's take this ahead now to the eighth. Jonathan Hernandez leaves a changeup up, and Sean Murphy blasts it to left field to make it 3-1 Atlanta. And that's going to take us to the home half of the eighth inning, and this is where Aaron Dunn dropped in his third hit, tried to get into scoring position, did so safely. Of course, at a very steep cost. The torn ACL took him out of the game and really sucked the air out of this offense. Now, we did get a base hit from Cody Bellinger, but with runners at the corners, a chopper right back to Nick Anderson finished off the eighth inning. They brought in their closer in the ninth, Michael King, who was 11 of 12 closing out games this year. And we didn't put up much of a fight at all in the bottom of the frame. Braves take the series, and the A's now are left to replace the young Aaron Dunn and move forward the rest of the year with a new plan in the outfield. Our first move is to call up Denzel Clark, but what is the domino effect now the rest of the year with Aaron Dunn's season over? When I finished that stream and I had this gameplay I knew I'd be using, I had to think about how I was going to present this episode. I've wanted to really place an emphasis this year at improving the storytelling in my series and not being so cookie cutter with episodic formulas. And I decided to go just straight to the point. And that's why the title, thumbnail, and first clip of this video was so matter of fact. I really try to not spoil things in my titles and thumbnails, unless those things are going to happen extremely early in the video. Creating the titles and thumbnails is probably my least favorite part of all of this, because I would so love to just be able to put up like episode 37 with no context and have everything perform, the same as if you tailored everything the way you are meant to on YouTube. But I felt this was the best experience for this moment in this franchise, a massive turning point. Aaron Dunn will finish his season now at 20 years old with 107 at-bats. He was hitting .299, had his first home run, and was a difference maker in our offense. He was given a .8 WAR at this point of the year, which is pretty solid. And I thought he was having a terrific start to his major league career. Now, I believe his rookie status will still be intact for next year. I forget how many at-bats you need, but I think it's a little over triple digits. There have been some heartbreaking injuries over the course of my series, and honestly, injuries like this haven't happened all that often. But it's going to be interesting now to see the domino effect. Like, I always look at these kind of things in a franchise as an opportunity, because now you're going to play players you otherwise wouldn't, and the season's going to go very differently, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. But I think this is essential to the franchise experience that you face adversity. Of course, we're going to be seeing Josh Baez now get everyday at-bats, and with this 147 average, That's going to have to come up if he wants to remain a starter. We do have Denzel Clark, but down at AAA, there's also guys like Deshaun Knowles who are going to be earning a chance, likely at some point this year. I'm very intrigued with Knowles. You also have Connor Capel, who can provide some pop. JJ Bleday, who isn't off to a great start right now, but has played pretty well at points in this series. And then some of our intriguing prospects are just not all that close right now, like Luis Crespo, and unfortunately Luis Estrella hasn't done a great job either. And I gotta get him back to DHing every day, because he can't really handle playing in the field on an everyday basis. And there goes Aaron Dunn's chance to try and lead the league in triples this year. He is the leader right now as his season ends. But we've got to move forward, as you do in the world of sports. And we're going to actually get around to talking a bit about scouting here in the start of this episode. And we have managed to, I think, find a few intriguing players for the beginning of this draft. So I'm probably going to still look at finishing the scouting on the catcher, Austin Gilliland, just to see where he does end up. But there's actually a new catcher that's taken over the top ranked on our team board, and that's Will Reagan. I'd like to get some more scouting for him. He's a switch hitter who's also a very good offensive catcher, but also seems to have a more complete skill set. And although we're seeing Shea Langoliers play at a very high level, we're going to see who the best player is for us at number 1 overall. But right now, I'd say that the favorite for number 1 is going to be Julio Pena. We have finished off his scouting, and he comes in 3rd on our board. He's an exceptional hitter, another lefty bat, doesn't play great defense, and I think at some point it's going to be a bit more of a conflict in terms of, like, a guy's bat might be major league ready, but do we want to bring him up if the defense isn't there? So I'd still be willing to take him at number 1. But there might be a longer timeline with that defense where it is. Drew Alfonso comes in 6th on our board right now. He can play the entire outfield, is another very good contact hitter, and he is a righty. His discipline looks like it has a chance to be really good, which would make him a very good on-base player, and he does have a strong arm. I also want to continue scouting Rich Cervone, who is number 10 on our board, and has the power I'm looking for. That's a skill set we're just lacking. That power-hitting corner outfielder. We need more options. And on top of the hitting that intrigues you, the ranges look possibly outstanding in the field as well. So where does this leave our A's now at 16 and 12? Now, I know I've been excited the last couple episodes because we're actually playing well. I know there's still a lot of rebuilding to do with this team, and we're only 4 games above 500 right now, but we have been able to taste some success. And now I just wonder, moving on without Aaron Dunn for the rest of the year, how is this going to play out? We get a series at home against the Colorado Rockies, and we go bottom of the 9th here with 2 down. I'm going to skip this one. And the Rockies do take the first game. Luis Medina only goes 4 innings in this game, giving up 5 runs. I wanted to experiment with something, and I'd like some feedback on this, because one of the issues here in the show is the simulated bullpen usage. You'll end up with long relievers getting all these innings, and then instead of Alex Reyes and Zach Jackson getting more of these key innings, they're barely getting to play. And it's opting instead to just pitch Paul Blackburn and whoever else is listed as a long reliever. I want to experiment here, leaving 2 of these empty and taking a look at the usage. But if there's any sort of like band-aid fix or workaround to get certain guys innings, maybe it is to just put my best guys in the long relief role. I would rather them not pitch multiple innings, but there doesn't seem to be a very clean solution here. Joe Michael versus Joe Rock. And Randy Rodriguez trying to close things out in the 9th inning. Arraez is 0 for 4 on the day. That means he's most likely due for a hit. Rodriguez just entered the game, by the way. Got the inside corner, strike 2. A strike away from taking the first 2 of this series. Rockies looking for a big win. Fouled off by Arraez. And it hits him. That will load the bases now for Oakland and bring Nick Gordon to the plate instead. A base hit now can not only tie this game, but possibly win it as well. Gordon, strike 1. Only hitting .133 with runners in scoring position this year. And strike 2 again, attacking high in the zone. 1-2. Gordon, left center field. He's under it. To the gap and run down to finish off a Rockies win. Joe Michael takes the loss in this game, having gone 6 2/3 innings, only allowing 3 and striking out 5. Very little offense in this game from Oakland, but the man replacing Aaron Dunn, Josh Baez, did go yard. The A's dropped their 3rd consecutive game and do finish off the series with a victory against the Rockies. And I'm taking a look more at the bullpen usage. So it was Arraez and then Jackson who came out. In the following game that we did win 4-1, it was Hernandez, who was listed as the setup 2, and then Acevedo for a save. Oh yeah, Max Muncy did get hurt in that stream. It was just a little 10-day stint, though, so he is good to go and ready to play once again. Michael Soroka is one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball, by the way. He's had so many great starts recently, a ton of scoreless innings, and now we put up the offense. We put up 10 runs here with 3 homers. Yes, Vladdy goes yard twice. They come in pairs this year. Soroka goes 7 innings. Griffin Jackson, Alex Reyes help close it down. Going back to our scouting, and Austin Gilliand is now going to come in 6th on our board after some scouting. Looking like a very good offensive skill set and pretty good behind the dish as well. A lot to like. So I think I'd like to do a little bit more of maybe scouting a region for 1 or 2 weeks and then finding those individuals to finish off with our better scouts. I haven't yet found the real sweet spot for getting like a lot of information on guys here, but I think that could help. Logan Davidson got hot in the month of April. All right, he's somebody I want to keep getting some Major League at-bats this season. Landon Sims was good in 5 1/3 innings. Now that we're around a month in, too, we can see more of the development for everybody. And for Joe Michael, we're seeing the walk per 9, home run per 9 numbers improve. He's up to an 86 overall now, having made 6 starts in the majors with mixed results. Shea Langoliers has been hot, but he's not seeing any type of massive jump in ratings yet. The numbers have come down a tad, down to 282 at the average. We drop another series here to the Houston Astros as they are out in first place here in the American League West. Joe Michael's next start is another very up and down day. 5 innings, just the 1 strikeout and gave up 4 runs, unfortunately. Looks like a couple homers in there from Soto and Rodriguez, and he possibly allowed those. 4 losses in a row for Oakland, drops them to 500. And then what happens? Michael Soroka has another shutout going. We'll simulate this one. And we gave up some late runs in the 9th inning, but we do pick up the win. Soroka only charged with 1 of those. He went 8 innings striking out just 1. Are you kidding me? He has a 1.48 ERA now. We haven't won very many series lately, and we already lose the first 2 here to Detroit. Remember last episode when we won 5 series in a row? Well, now this has brought our losing streak to 6 straight series, 19-20 on the season. Rich Cervone, number 6 on the board. All right, definitely hits lefties well, and we need to find some more players who can do that. We have so many lefties in the outfield right now. He's got some serious power there too. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the mix for that number 1 pick. I actually want to try a little experimenting here using the Discover New Prospects with one of our higher tiered scouts. because I think I could use some more options if they're out there. So outfielders in the Central is where we're going to go, because I already want to continue scouting at least one guy in the Central region here, so maybe we can find some more. The month of May not going so well right now for the A's. They're 2 games under 500, having lost 6 consecutive series. And now facing the Brewers, they do win, and Mitch Keller faces Andrew Heaney. We win this game, and the Twins want to offer us a trade today. Zach Jackson for Giovanni Moran. This actually could make some sense in this series. Moran in real life seems to give up runs every time they put him in the game, especially if it's a high leverage situation. Ooh, he's had good numbers for sure, all series. This is one of those moves that now I'll know they'll do it. I might come back to it later on, but I don't feel the need to make the move right at this moment. The pitching has been rough. We have 3 players in cold streaks right now. Soroka's the only one pitching at a really high level. Jeez, the ERA on Acevedo isn't looking great right now. We come in 19th place right now in runs allowed, and we are 9th in hits allowed. And we're tied in 4th place right now with the least homers allowed. We're actually pitching pretty well. As you can imagine, then it's the offense that's struggling at the moment. 23rd in runs scored. Coming in 14th in hits. And we're tied for 5th in doubles. But 20th in home runs. And number 9 in on-base percentage. Feels like that should equate to maybe a slightly better record than 21 and 22. Does appear that Shea Langoliers has cooled off in a pretty big way now, all the way down to 223 in the average department. Well, it was fun while it lasted. But Zach Geloff now, we can hype up this little hot streak, a 347 average. Not hitting a ton of extra base hits in there, but we'll certainly take this. This is a huge step up. He should get some more playing time. And that might mean having to get him in the DH role. We're going to make a couple roster moves here as well. And I wanted to move Robert Passan down to AA, as the offense has just not been there to start this season. In the pitching side of things, we've seen Henry Vasquez be up and down, and currently he's in the middle of a cold streak. But Gunnar Hoagland has pitched outstanding. In the majors in this series, it really hasn't gone well for him, but he's about due for another try. I feel like we're going to have to make some moves soon. I don't have a roster spot available, but I feel like guys like Paul Blackburn, we might have to start making some trades to make some room for guys to get a bit more playing time. And especially with our records starting to go down, we should start to see what we can get for Cody Bellinger. 78 overall, seeing more decline, unfortunately, right now to start the season. But I still think he has some pretty good value and should get us something decent in return. We're also seeing a lot of just across-the-board regression from Seth Brown, and that usually signals it's the time to move on from a guy. So let's continue on now. We have some American League West baseball with the A's at 21 and 22 on the season. I like the pace we're going at here. We're about a quarter of the way through. Now we got some moves possibly to look at making to upgrade this team. And there is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's now hitting 260 as the average has fallen like 30 points in this episode. And maybe hasn't hit as many home runs here in the second month of the season. Luis Medina, very inconsistent, and that's kind of a theme right now with a lot of these pitchers. But we have a lot of young guys in the rotation, so we're just going to continue on and hope we get more good than bad. One pitch, one out, on the ground to short. Willis Baker hitting second for Texas. Right there on the inside corner. Medina gets ahead and strikes out Baker on a fastball. Here is Corey Seager hitting 293 for Texas. Slider comes in a tad low. He leads the Rangers in hits. And the 1-1 from Medina is fouled off. Struck him out as well. 2 in the first for Luis Medina. Now let's get this offense going as we face the former White Sox pitcher, Michael Kopech. And he's off to a very good start this year. 40 strikeouts in 52 innings, a 1.3 whip, and a 6-1 record. I think more than anything, that record tells you they score when he starts. I remember growing up and like pitchers being a 20-game winner was a big deal, but it's like so dependent on so many things, and it hardly even tells the story of how your season went. I mean, it's hard to go like 20-5 and have a bad year, but you could probably win 15 games and have it be pretty misleading. Soderstrom pounds it to first base, and Kopech's going to get in a jog here to get the second out. Soderstrom a bit quiet this season to start off, hitting .232 with 6 home runs. And then you got Vladimir Guerrero. Had a lot of fun with him in the first few episodes, and now the team is certainly looking for a boost somewhere. Fouled back. 0-2 from Michael Kopech. Just off the outside edge. And a drive! Drilled to left and gone! Vladimir Guerrero puts the A's on the board. This episode was in desperate need for some energy. That's the best way to supply it. So could this be one of the last games we play with Cody Bellinger? You know, after our strong start, I wasn't going to make any moves just to see how things would unfold, but I think the writing is on the wall here where the season is going with this month, and just we want to prepare for getting guys time to play that need it. Deshaun Knowles is somebody now we can maybe count on a bit more. I want to get Denzel Clark at bats at the same time. Bellinger in the air, center field. And run down. I think it's been successful, though, getting guys like Cody Bellinger. And in his case, he did go up like 4 overall points. I was hoping maybe we could creep into the 80s and make a bit more happen. But there's still definitely trade value with a guy like him. I think we're going to be set up here if we can make a couple trades for some decent prospects to enjoy a lot of this year with a very, very young roster. Get guys like Logan Davidson, you know, who's 28 years old, pretty much everyday playing time, so we can just make a decision on the guy at 29. Hopefully we get a couple guys to break out in the process as Simeon goes down swinging. That's 3 for Medina. All right, I have to remember, with Adolis Garcia in right field, maybe settle down on trying to get that extra base. 0-2. Got him looking. Strike 3. Medina cruising here in the first 2 innings. That's 4 strikeouts. And now Sam Huff. Nailed the bottom of the zone, and now 2-2. Didn't go. And blocked by Susak. It's ball 4. And that's going to bring up Max Kepler, who is hitting under 200. Am I talking about real life or the show? You decide. Strike 2 on the outside. Just pitch Max away. It's usually that simple. Popped him up. Guerrero's going to take it and head on into the dugout. All right, Zach Geloff, 347. We're putting that average to the test now, taking over that DH role. Seth Brown is now on the bench, and Geloff sends it to the gap. That average is going to stay high, and now with a little issue there at the wall, he's going to hustle around second base, flying on in with a triple to lead off the second inning for the Athletics. We really need someone like Zach to take off this year. Without Aaron Dunn, I'm waiting for that next young guy to show up and really take over a starting job. That'll bring up Nick Gordon now. Really good RBI chance, and anytime you can get him at bat with runners in scoring position, you get that 90 clutch to play with. Ooh, had to watch that one a little too long. Ooh, good changeup, and he strikes out Gordon for the first out. Trey Sweeney. Only hitting 241. He's staying low in the order because he just hasn't had a great start to the year. Here's what he's slashing right now, and I wouldn't say he's been awful to start the year, but certainly I was hoping he would, continue ascending based off of last year's play, and he's not there yet. 3-0 with Baez on deck. Let's take that one on the ground to third base, and it's an RBI. So Josh Baez has improved his numbers since taking over for Aaron Dunn. Still has a lot of work to do. 2 down here in the second. Chopped it right back to Kopech. Inning over. The speedy Jorge Mateo leads off the third for Texas. You know, I played them, oddly enough, a lot in the Rockies franchise. This was always a very speedy team. They'd have guys like Bubba Thompson and some other really fast players they develop. And it's going to be more of the same, it looks like, in this series. 1-2 to Mateo. And it's grounded and right through the hole. And now, one of the most dangerous base runners in the majors is aboard. Pitch out. Should have thrown back to first base, but I am already expecting him to be at second here in a moment. And it's grounded to the right side. Got him there, and double play on the speedy Bubba Thompson. You know, Medina doesn't have the best stamina here. It's actually fallen another point to be like a 71 or 72. You got to get some quick ABs. A double play really helps. I like Medina a lot, but he's never really looking like a guy who's going to go deep into games. He's more of a 5 solid inning pitcher, and on his best days, then he'll go 6. I think this might be one of those best days. Well, Daniel Susak's getting some more starts now amidst this cold streak for Shea. I want to do a better job at checking on the numbers maybe every week or so and making adjustments. But for sure, Susak's average is now 30 points above Shea's. And this back and forth battle continues on. Susak's done okay in his 55 at-bats this year. On base is up from last season. The average is in a fine spot. 3-0 now from Kopech. And it's a line drive at short. Seager takes care of it. Luis Arraez will hit. These two had to have some battles back in the American League Central. 301 average now for Luis Arraez. He and Vladdy were our big signings, and they've been exactly who we thought they would be. That one is cracked to center field. Arraez deep to the wall. It is gone. Luis Arraez, number 5 on the season. I hit a home run with Luis Arraez before I could ever hit a home run with Aaron Dunn. Can you ask for a better pitch, though? Curveball, top shelf. We have scored 1 off of Kopech in all 3 innings. Popped up. That's Corey Seager on 2 pitches for out number 1. This is the perfect storm right here for Medina to go deep into this game, or deeper than usual. Nate Lowe at the plate. On the ground, Arraez on the grass. 2 away. Simeon now 2-1, just off the outside corner. Pitching him carefully here with 2 down, bases empty. And he waves at it, 3-2. Payoff pitch from Medina. Down and in, ball 4. Brings up Adolis Garcia. Busted the bat. And it's a good inning here in the 4th for Luis Medina. A drive to right. A belly bomb makes it 4-0 Oakland. Again, 1 in each inning. And that's our 3rd solo jack. You know, when this team gets going, they can certainly put up some runs. I like our lineup. Where'd we get that hammer? I've never seen that before. Should I have? I've never seen the hammer in the dugout. Geloff left field! Back-to-back home runs! 5-0 Athletics. Number 2 for Zach Geloff. And I have a feeling that could possibly be it for Michael Kopech. All right, I want to see that hammer. There it is. Oh, don't hit Soroka. We're having a good time here with the team against the Texas Rangers. Nice catch up there in the second deck. Hey, they're leaving Kopech in. Maybe that's a chance for Trey Sweeney to get something going. Just a few homers on the season. I know he has more power than that. Only on pace right now for around 12. Ooh, fouled it back. That was another one. I feel like he's just been living over the middle of the plate and he's not working inside outside very well. So like the swing timing has just been like super easy to dial up. And his sequencing hasn't really done anything to throw me off. Ooh, didn't have to chase that though. Medina cruising here into the 5th inning. Texas with just 2 hits on the day and 2 quick strikes from Medina. Whatever he wants here. 0-2. Kepler doesn't chase it. Struck him out. The sweet spot for Medina is around 80 pitches. And he tends to go 5 innings when I play with him. We're in the mid-50s right now. Mateo falls behind. Yeah, his fastball is on point, and that's making everything so simple. Well, he missed there with the slider, and Mateo's going to reach again. And you just hope that it's not a triple when he does that. There's no way he'd steal here in a 5-run game with 2 down, right? Bubba Thompson will hit. Ooh, missed there with the slider. That pitch has been left over the plate now the last 2 times. We might go away from that a tad. 0-2. Struck him out looking. 6 strikeouts on the day for Luis Medina. And it's 5 scoreless. Of course, they bring out a lefty. But now we have a much more righty-heavy lineup, right? Or at least more balanced lineup. With Vladdy, Geloff, Baez, and Susak. That's 4 righties in there. Let's see if we can make him pay for bringing in another lefty. Cole Ragans. On the ground. Past the diving third baseman. Seager's going to make the play, but he pulled the first baseman low off the bag. That's an error. How did the organ become like the instrument of baseball? 3-1 to Luis Arraez. Soderstrom on deck. Does not seem interested in pitching him in the zone. And it's tapped to the right side. Lowe will start it. Barely got the out there, and Arraez beats out the return. And it's Guerrero up with 2 away here in the 5th. Arraez is aboard. Late. For the first time, we will not score in this inning. Meanwhile, Luis Medina continues on, having an outstanding game. Willis Baker looks at a fastball low. We'll look to get the bullpen going for 7 and beyond. But can we get 6 good innings here from Medina? You know, every time I play with him, he feels like a guy who's going to be a long-term starter for us. I really hope he can get some more solid development this season. He struck him out. Susak delivers it. I think that's number 7. Tap foul by Seager, and he falls behind. Like, have we even had a full count today with Medina? Not many if there has been. Lifted to left, but the Coliseum's going to contain it. 2 down. He thought about it. Lets the slider graze the outside edge. And we threw a good pitch there, too. Didn't get the call. Just off the outside edge. 2-2 now to Lowe. Neck level, ball 3. And the payoff pitch. Here's that 3-2. Struck him out. 6 brilliant innings from Luis Medina. That is a strong outing. I'd like to bring in Denzel Clark, who needs more chances to hit this year. He'll hit for Cody Bellinger. Maybe it's a little early to do a sub like this, but they're leaving a lefty in there. I'd like to get Clark in the game. And he cracks it out to left field. Clark deep to left. It is gone. A pinch hit homer. The first for Clark on the season. By the way, that's a 9-game hitting streak now he's got. Oh, yeah. When I'm turning on a fastball inside, I know I'm dialed in for the day. Geloff, by the way, is 2 for 2. Gets to face a lefty. A homer and a triple. So if he wants to, you know, make an attempt at going for the cycle, he's got the hard stuff out of the way. And now hopes this one will drop in. In shallow center, it does not. Ooh, Gordon puts down a very solid bunt, and he's out by a half step. You know what? This is the first time I've seen this even asked. I thought challenges were taken out of the game. Just challenge it. You're not going to ask me again. I know that. Ooh. I think he is out still, but where have the challenges gone? Like, literally, this might be the first time I've been prompted the entire time I've played this game. I have a lot of hours played. He's out. Ooh, the big breaking ball, and Sweeney has to wave at it. 237 average now, but he seems to be walking enough. He's still getting on base a lot. Now sends one the other way. Got a second look at the curveball. Does some more damage with it. Trying to be the hero in left was not a good idea. And Sweeney's going to head back to second base. This feels like a much more balanced lineup. This is nice. Baez. Okay, that's the curveball part 3. And now into center field. And this one's going to drop in. Baez delivers an RBI single, and it's 7-0 Oakland. I almost called them the Raiders for a moment. Now let's bring in Shea. You know, maybe a hit against the lefty is what he needs to get out of this current funk. What happened? He was playing at like an all-star level for 2 weeks. And now he's playing like the guy who should go back down to AAA again. Who are you, Shea? Are you an all-star or a replacement level player? Shea cranks one foul. I'm not running up 7. Ah, the change-ups are getting me. All right, it's 7-0 though, and in comes the former Ranger. We've got Jonathan Hernandez, who hasn't been great to start the year. Definitely not one of our top relief options at the moment. But a 7-0 game is the time to put him in. And I'd love to see this shutout continue. Luis Medina only allowed a couple of hits, no runs. Ooh, changeup high, did not get the call, and he walks the first man he faces. There you go, good slider. Get back in the strike zone. Let's see if Garcia gives us a nice grounder. Strike two, it's by him. That is certainly more like it. Change up, does he go? No, he doesn't. That looked pretty close. And that's an interesting one. Sent to right, and Gordon will chase after it. Gets there in time. I wasn't sure he would. That looked like it was going to go to the wall. Falling behind Max Kepler. His control has been not very controlled. But no serious damage done. Hernandez gloves it for the final out. That's ripped down the left field line. Guerrero will add to his day. He'll round first, into second head first. It's a double. And now Denzel Clark, who gave us a home run earlier. I think that's the first homer I've ever hit with him. Ooh. Cole Ragans looking to get through a third inning, I want to say. Now I'm swinging at everything. Literally, 28 strikes to 7 balls. He has not been that accurate, I promise. There you go. Got to lay off a couple. And this one is also past third base. Guerrero rounds third, and Clark is a perfect 2 for 2. And he's got a pair of RBIs. Why didn't I go to second base? Well, another lefty. Let's see if Geloff makes them pay for that decision. Not that there's a whole lot more to be paid when you're down 8-0 in the 7th inning. Oh boy, left center and hit well. Deep to the gap and run down. But hey, I'm enjoying these at-bats a ton right now with Geloff. But when you're showing power to both gaps, why wouldn't you enjoy that experience? And it's Kyle Muller who's going to come in. I'd love for him to be the one who takes us to the end of this game. And he's somebody else, you know, that could also be on the trade block. And we're going to have to start making moves soon, and we'll just see how many I feel like making. I've been using the player finder lately to try and find prospects and players that intrigue me. And I'm honestly not finding a lot that fit what I'm looking for. I can find a B potential prospect who's okay, but I'm really looking for players of a bit more personality to their game. I'm finding so many balanced skill sets. That's through. He's going to try, and nope, he'll stay at first. But, you know, I'd love to find some more players who have a little more to talk about in terms of their strengths and weaknesses, instead of just being okay at everything. We've got those guys. We're developing them. Ooh, a 12-6. That was nice. 1-2. Just a piece. And now Langoliers recovers, and he throws out the runner at second base. If you've got the right catcher, this gets you so many outs. They can recover so quickly. Seager walks. And a strikeout to finish off the 8th inning. That wasn't too bad. Muller, 2 strikes on Garcia here. We're top of the 9th, just about wrapped up with this one. The 1-2 struck him out. And now 1 strike away. Looking for another shutout victory. Got him looking, and the game is over. The A's win in dominant fashion, 8-0. That was a really fun game, and an enjoyable one to go through after seeing Aaron Dunn, of course, tear his ACL and have his season come to an end. We got to see some really good play from some of the guys that are helping replace him, and we'll be getting more playing time as other players are maybe moving on during this season. 8 strikeouts for Medina, 3 hits, 2 walks. That was a lot of fun. This leaves the A's at 22-22 with this episode coming to an end. I'd love to know your thoughts on the team right now going into the next portion of this season and what you'd like to see. And what do you think about playing time right now, and should there be some more moves made so we can get even more playing time for guys like Denzel Clark, who are absolutely crushing it? It's a small sample size on Clark that spans 3 individual seasons, but he has 109 at-bats where he's hit .385 with a .433 on-base percentage. He has an ISO of only 119, so most of that has just been singles. It's impressive nonetheless. That is going to do it for our time today, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to your feedback. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And there's a whole lot of A's franchise still to come. Have a great day.